Great customer service, it feels like it's the exception, not the rule, right? But why is that? Well, the answer usually isn't bad employees, it's bad systems. In this explainer, we're going to pull back the curtain on the service trap that so many companies fall into. And more importantly, we'll lay out a clear playbook for how to escape it by investing in the one thing that truly matters: your people. We've all been there. You're stuck on hold for what feels like an eternity, or you're dealing with an employee who so clearly does not want to be there. You end up feeling more like a problem than a valued customer. It's incredibly frustrating, it's way too common, and it just makes you wonder, why is this so hard to get right? But here's the key insight, the thing you have to understand. The problem usually isn't the person you're talking to. Nope, it's the system they're stuck working in. A lot of businesses are actually designed, even if they don't mean to be, to produce mediocre service. It's a fundamental system problem, not a people problem. To really get this, we need to look at this trap that countless companies fall right into. It's this self-perpetuating loop, right? It starts with cost cutting, which leads to unhappy employees, who then create unhappy customers, and those unhappy customers tank profits, which just starts the whole miserable process all over again. They call it the vicious cycle of service failure. Look, this isn't just a string of bad luck or a few bad months. The cycle of failure is a predictable, repeating business model. It's a system that's built to prioritize one thing above all else: minimizing labor costs. And the great irony is that by doing that, it creates the very service nightmares that managers are always complaining about. So here's how it works. It all starts with really narrowly designed, kind of soul-crushing jobs and rock-bottom pay. Well, that leads to a constant churn of employees, right? People are always leaving. So management thinks, hey, why should we invest in training people who are just going to leave anyway? And of course, this results in a disengaged staff that has zero reason to be loyal, which in turn creates dissatisfied customers who also have no reason to be loyal. That leads to low profit margins, which just reinforces the original idea that you can't afford to pay or train people better. And boom, the cycle starts all over again. And this is when you start hearing all the excuses we've heard a million times. Managers who are stuck in this cycle, they conclude the problem isn't their system, it's the labor market or some kind of poor work ethic in the younger generation. They start to see high turnover as just, the cost of doing business, completely failing to see it for what it is: a giant flashing red light signaling that their own system is broken. Okay, so that's the doom and gloom, but it absolutely does not have to be this way. We can take this entire model and flip it completely on its head, moving from that vicious cycle to a virtuous one. What if instead of trying to squeeze every last penny out of your labor costs, you focused on maximizing the value of your employees? What if you started treating your people not as a cost to be controlled, but as your most valuable asset to be invested in? Well, this is the simple, powerful idea behind what's called the cycle of success. The cycle of success is pretty much the exact opposite of what we just saw. It starts with better pay and a really intense selection process to get the right people in the door. Then you provide extensive training and you empower them. This creates satisfied, loyal employees who, guess what, provide way better service. This creates satisfied, loyal customers. And those customers spend more, which creates higher profits, which lets the company invest even more back into its people. It's a powerful, incredible upward spiral. When you put them side by side like this, the contrast couldn't be more clear. One path is this short-term game of cutting costs that basically guarantees a long-term decline. The other is a long-term strategy of investment that builds sustainable growth. One creates a revolving door of employees and customers. The other creates a loyal army of advocates, both inside and outside the company. The choice seems pretty obvious, right? Okay, so how do you actually build this cycle of success? Sounds great in theory, but how do you do it? Well, the answer lies in a really clear, actionable framework: the service talent cycle. This is your playbook. It's that simple. It breaks the whole process down into 3 logical, powerful parts. First, you hire the right people. Second, you enable them to succeed. And third, you motivate them to bring their best every single day. So, step 1, hiring. And this is so much more than just filling a slot. It's about attracting the best. That means you have to build a reputation as a genuinely great place to work so the best people actually want to come to you. You need a tough selection process that goes way beyond a quick interview to find people who have the right attitude and values to fit your culture. This quote from Southwest Airlines founder Herb Kelleher just says it all. You can train someone on skills, but it's really, really hard to train for attitude. The great service companies, they hire for those inherent qualities first. Things like warmth, optimism, and a real team-first mindset. Okay, so once you've got the right people in the door, you have to set them up for success. That's the enable step. It means investing big time in training, and not just on the technical stuff, but on the company's culture, its purpose, and maybe most importantly, it means empowering your frontline staff to use their own judgment and solve customer problems right there on the spot without needing to go ask a manager for permission. This might be the most famous and maybe the most powerful example of empowerment in the entire world. Nordstrom's entire employee handbook is basically this one rule. Think about that. It's an incredible statement of trust. It tells every single employee, we hired you because you're smart. We trust you to do the right thing for the customer. Go do it. And finally, the third step, motivate. You've hired great people, you've enabled them, and now you have to keep them energized. And this isn't just about money. It's about recognition, it's about feedback, performance bonuses, it's about celebrating wins and making sure people feel seen and valued for the great work they're doing. Now, to put this whole playbook into action, it really requires one final, absolutely fundamental shift in thinking. It's about completely rethinking the very structure of your organization. Think about the traditional org chart. It's a pyramid, right? Management's at the top, and the customer is, well, somewhere way down at the bottom. But the great service companies, they do something radical. They literally flip the entire pyramid upside down. So in this new model, the most important people are the customers, right there at the very top. And just below them, the frontline employees, the people who actually interact with those customers every single day. So, what's management's job? Their job is not to command and control. Their job is to support the frontline, to give them the training, the tools, and the authority they need to take care of the customer. Zappos is a fantastic modern example of this. Every single new hire, it doesn't matter if you're an accountant or a software developer, spends their first 2 weeks working in the call center. This sends such a powerful message. At this company, serving the customer isn't just one department's job. It is everyone's job. And that really is the core takeaway here. Exceptional service isn't something you can just delegate to a customer service department. It's a total business philosophy. It's a strategic choice to invest in your people and to flip that pyramid so that the entire organization is laser-focused on one thing, supporting the frontline to create happy, loyal customers.
So I'll leave you with this question to think about. For any business you know, the one you work for, the ones you buy from, who is it truly built to serve? Is the whole system designed to support managers and make their lives easier? Or is it designed to empower employees to create amazing experiences for customers? Because the answer to that one question, well, it changes absolutely everything.